Good morning, friends, and welcome back for another Facebook Live. Today we are joining you from our Northern Waters Gallery, also known as Cold Marine, back here behind the scenes. And you can tell it's chilly because of all the condensation on the tanks here behind us. And this face right here might look familiar. This is Bill. Bill is our head aquarist for this space. And today we're talking to Bill because tomorrow is National Lobster Day.
Yay.
So Bill has kindly agreed to share some of his cool and unusual lobsters that live here behind the scenes. So without further ado, Bill, should we show some people some cool lobsters?
Yeah.
Of course, this guy is playing right to the back just as we get started.
Yep. It's all right. So we have a mix of colors. We have a nice like orange color. One of the popular ones, beautiful orange.
And next door we have
Nice little yellow.
yellow lobster. And next door to that we have
Nice big blue. I don't know if you can see it very well, hiding in the back.
shy blue. We have another shy blue over here, Marissa, if you want to see if we can get him. There he is. Awesome. Bill, can I ask you to take one of these guys out so that we can get a closer look at one of them?
Sure.
All right,
Sounds
who
good.
you feeling? We're gonna go orange. So for all of you who have wondered if you can pick up a lobster without them being banded, yes you can. You just have to know how.
So
So Bill, why are all of these lobsters such unusual colors?
these guys can be orange colored or crazy colored in two fashions. It's either by genetics or diet. Genetics are mostly all the ones we have here because what ends up happening is the shells has 3 layers. The top layer is yellow, middle layer is blue, and the bottom layer is red. So that's why when you cook them, all those layers of kind of break down and it's just the red shell left. What happens is when one of the layers doesn't bond very well or doesn't kind of show through very well, one of the colors shines through more than the others. So this right here is more of a mix of yellow and red, kind of give us a nice orange color. So the blue is kind of missing. So that layer in the middle just seems to be a little off or missing much. So now we have nice yellow and red shining through. It gives us this beautiful orange color.
Very cool. So yeah, the thing that gives lobsters their trademark red color is a type of pigment called astaxanthin. And it's a red pigment and it turns the lobster's skin red. Now, their shell is made up of proteins, and when the protein absorbs and binds, like Bill was explaining, to that pigment, it kind of twists the color and makes it look either blue or yellow. And so if any of those layers aren't working properly through a genetic quirk, then we get some really cool and unusual lobsters like Bill is showing us. So back here we got to see the blue and the orange and the yellow. We also have kind of a calico lobster back here. He's a little hard to see too. He's kind of chilling in the back with his little claw. So that's kind of like a mottled color, and I've seen those calico blue, calico yellow,
Calico orange.
You've seen a calico orange?
Yep.
Very cool. And then we also get the really unusual kind of split-colored lobsters, which can be a combination of other colors based on how their shells are working. Now, the follow-up question to how are they this color, Bill, is always how do we have so many this color? Because this is not a very common thing to be able to see a really unusual colored lobster. So how did we get so lucky?
That is a very good question, and I'm very proud to say that all of these have been donations through lobstermen themselves, lobster pounds, or grocery stores. Every time they get a lobster in or they catch one, they pull it in, they see it's really how rare it is and how cool it is, and they want to do something about it, so they call us up and they want to show it to the world, which is great for us because we can display these, we can show them to the public, and you guys can all see them and we can talk about them. So all of these have been donated from people, from restaurants, and I'm very thankful for that because without them doing that, I wouldn't have all of this to show you guys.
through generous donation, we're able to display these really amazing and unique lobsters and get to talk about this cool, rare genetic pork. Now, our marketing and PR team would be really upset with me if I didn't ask this question. Bill, are we currently accepting lobster donations?
Unfortunately not. I am not, because as you can see, my holding is filled with colorful lobsters. But I am very happy when people call and I try and direct them to other institutions that could use them and house them and show them to the public. Usually local education centers, other aquariums, other places like that. Even other restaurants that have a tank that want to display them for the public to see is great.
Awesome. So if you're curious, give us a call, and if we can't take them, we can probably direct you to someone who maybe can. Thanks for clearing that one up. As you can see, yeah, all the rooms are full at the end here today. I guess maybe my next question for you, Bill, as the king of lobsters, is do we have any other cool and unusual lobsters that we're not seeing here behind the scenes this morning?
There are a couple other lobsters that aren't behind the scenes. One of our favorites, and especially mine, is we have a big 12-pound lobster in the Boulder Reef exhibit.
12 pounds!
Yeah, he's a big boy. So he's a big one to find. He's in the Boulder Reef exhibit. If you look real down low in the dark, he likes to hang out underneath an overhang. Another popular one is our half and half or bicolor, which is over in the edge of the sea touch area. The touch tank's closed, but that portion where the tank is in, he's actually available to see. So he's a beautiful one to see.
Awesome. So next time you're here, make sure you look for our lobsters in our Northern Waters Gallery, in our Boulder Reef for that really big guy. I think you have a beautiful orange lobster on exhibit in our Isle of Shoals exhibit right now. And then by our electric eel, kind of right across from the electric eel, is our bicolor lobster. And I have a sneaking suspicion you might see it in the month of October on our social channels because it is half orange and half normal, but looks really dark. So kind of like orange and black lobster,
Yeah.
which is maybe a little on theme for October.
Yeah, very Halloween fall feel.
Awesome. I think at this point, Marissa, we'll see if our viewers have any questions this morning and take some of those. What do we see out there?
How rare are the blue and orange lobsters?
Aha! I knew someone was going to ask this. Didn't I tell you, Bill?
You did.
I had my cheat sheet in my pocket. So the blue lobster is actually the most common of the unusual colors at 1 in 2 million lobsters caught. Orange is the next most unusual at 1 in 10 million. The yellow lobster, like the first one that Bill showed us this morning, or that calico, kind of the mottled color, is 1 in 30. A split color like our bicolored lobster near edge of the sea is 1 in 50 million. And the lobster that we don't have here, because it is so incredibly rare, is the white lobster or albino lobster. And they're actually 1 in 100 million. But you had a white lobster at one point, didn't you, Bill?
We did years ago. We had a white lobster on display, and we had it for several years. And then during one of its molts, it actually didn't survive its molt because it's very stressful on the lobster. So unfortunately, it died during the molt.
Yeah, that's actually one of my favorite facts about lobsters is they don't age at a cellular level like humans do. So typically it's due to predation that they would get eaten out in the wild and therefore end their lives, or through challenges with their molting. So lobsters have to shed their shells as they grow. Bill keeps very careful watch over his lobsters as they start to molt so they can get an assist if they need to, which is perks of being a lobster at an aquarium. You get a little helping hand
Little
sometimes.
boost. Yeah, we can.
Yeah, they have to shed that shell so out in the wild if they run into any complications, or occasionally here at the aquarium if they run into any complications shedding that shell, that's usually the cause of lobster mortality unless due to age, which is pretty wild, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions out there, Marissa?
So how old do lobsters live?
How long do lobsters live? Do you want to answer that one, Bill?
A very long time.
Yeah, we don't really know. This is actually something that lobster researchers are working on right now. There's nothing on a lobster's body that indicates age,
Right.
partially because they shed their entire exterior when they're younger pretty often. As they get older, once a year, and even older, even less frequently than that. I think correct me if I'm remembering this wrong, but I feel like there's maybe some scientists looking at lobster gills for their aging, looking at something in their gill structure.
That's possible. That sounds about right. Yep.
Okay, all right. So theoretically, they're immortal animals. How about that?
It's always hard to judge their age too, because we do know that it takes them about 7 years to get to be a pound and a quarter, because that's actually been studied and pretty well documented. But after that, it's kind of a challenge, and it all depends on their environment, whether the temperature of the water, the food source, and things like and stress in their life. That also depends on when they molt. So as they get older and bigger, they molt less frequently, and so it's hard to judge their age as they get bigger and bigger.
That's a really great point, Bill, and something that I think most of us humans don't really consider is that the environmental conditions for a lobster can actually drastically change how quickly they grow. So if they have slightly more access to food, they might grow a little bit quicker. If they're in slightly warmer water, it can speed up their metabolism, help them grow a little faster. But a Maine lobster, typically about 7 years to reach that 1 pound size that you see in the grocery store. Great point. Any other questions this morning, Marissa?
What's your favorite lobster fact?
Ooh, favorite lobster fact. You go first.
Oh. I think this is always my favorite, just because of like Nick and I shared it, was they actually communicate and urinate through the face, or out their face. That's always a great one, because they actually pee out of the front, and that's how they communicate through pheromones and sensories. But it's a very odd fact that kids walk away with loving, and I'm a big kid, so I walk away loving that fact as well.
It's also my favorite lobster fact.
Yep.
Lobsters pee out of their foreheads, and that is actually how they talk to each other, through chemicals and pheromones in their pee. So just be really glad I'm not a lobster this morning, Bill.
Thank you.
Any other last questions, Marissa?
I think that's it for now.
Amazing. Well, make sure that you celebrate National Lobster Day tomorrow. Go to your favorite local fish supply, wave hi to the lobsters at the tank. Come here to the New England Aquarium, wave hi to our lobsters in our exhibits here. And Bill, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Pleasure.
Thanks for sharing your really cool lobsters and helping us learn a little bit more about them.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
All right. Thanks again, friends. If you have additional questions, put them in the comments. Otherwise, we'll see you next time.